Many developers put huge amounts of effort into creating fantastical worlds for their players to explore. Extra-terrestrial landscapes, Arcadian utopias, nightmarish fantasy realms, and more are all out there, meticulously crafted and waiting to be discovered by the adventurous gamer. What good will all these places be without the creatures that inhabit them, though? For today's list, we're looking at the games with the most interesting array of beasts. Each of the worlds we're about to discuss are full of beings, bugs, and other entities that feel like they truly belong. The following collection of cryptids capture imaginations, surprising and intriguing players and drawing them further into the game's world. They exist not just to be battled or caught, but because this is where they live, and the player is a guest in their home. In short, a good set of monsties can add hugely to our enjoyment of a game, and our level of engagement in the world. So we're going to celebrate some mighty magnificent menageries right here in this video. Get your binoculars and notepad out, we're doing a bit of wildlife spotting. I'm Ashton from TripleJump, and here are 10 video games with the most amazing creatures. Number 10, the Witcher series. There are countless games that involve open-world exploration, a fantastical setting, and a bestiary full of monsters to fight and creatures to interact with. None do it quite like the Witcher series, though, with its intimidating assortment of sinister forest-dwelling monstrosities and fey beings, transferred over from the books of Andrzej Sapkowski. Slavic mythology-inspired creatures like Leshens and Kikimoras inhabit the swamps, caverns and glades of a dark fantasy world, giving players a sword-swinging, spell-slinging experience that feels refreshingly different from the usual Tolkien-inspired stuff. Many residents of the Witcher's world, such as the baby-like botchling, veer away from the realms of fantasy and swerve straight into Horrorland instead. Thanks to these unsettling creatures and a dreary, sinister ambiance, the Witcher series really encapsulates what it might have felt like to live as a peasant in the medieval countryside, in a time when the woods were dangerous places full of mystery, and every mishap or tragedy was blamed on superstition. Makes me glad I live in modern times, where such superstitions are known to be mere nonsense. Also, I can spend my nights indoors, under a blanket and with the lights on, safe from those evil pixies that live in the tree in my front garden. Number 9, the Monster Hunter series. Capcom's Monster Hunter is perhaps the first series that comes to mind when you think of monsters and video games. I mean, it's right there in the title after all. But the franchise's prominence in the gaming world is due to far more than its name alone. The creatures found in Monster Hunter are iconic, beautifully designed, and importantly, players can't expect to defeat them by walking up to them and mashing buttons. Research, tracking, and other such preparation is required, and those monster kills are all the sweeter when you have to work for them. For 2018's Monster Hunter World, the developers wanted to really make the monsters feel alive, and to do this they integrated a balanced and believable ecosystem into the game. Not only will you be hunting monsters, but the monsters will hunt each other, adding an extra layer to the game's title as well as the gameplay and immersion. The design processes for the creatures that inhabit Monster Hunter World, and indeed the regions they can be found in, were meticulous, and resulted in a completely over-the-top fantastical world that still somehow feels totally natural and alive. In a way, it's just like our world, but with, monsters. Also, cat people. Number 8, Subnautica. The Earth's oceans are filled with mysterious life, and enigmatic creatures with bizarre alien biology dwell in the deep, inaccessible places that humans have yet to explore. The depths of our planet's seas truly are the strangest places on Earth, inhabited by creatures that we may never fully understand. With all this in mind, just imagine what oceans on alien planets would look like. The developers of underwater exploration and survival game Subnautica imagined just that, and did an excellent job of it too. Subnautica is a journey of aquatic discovery on an uncharted planet formed almost entirely of ocean. From the first moment you pop your head out of your pod in the safe shallows, to the final dive to the very bottom of the depths, you'll be hypnotised by its underwater world. This is thanks, in no small part, to the wealth of aquatic creatures you'll encounter. From the completely docile bladderfish and peepers, and gentle giants known as reefbacks, to the shrieking, colossal terror of the ghost leviathan. Every new discovery draws you further and further into a stunningly crafted world. Unless you're like our writer, and the prospect of big scary things in a big scary ocean terrifies you. Then every new discovery will just send you spiralling further and further into suffocating panic. Either way, what an experience, eh? Number 7, the Horizon series. When coming up with the concept for their 2017 open-world action hit Horizon Zero Dawn, Guerrilla Games decided to try something a bit different when it came to creating a monster ecosystem for their world. Set in a post-apocalyptic United States, Horizon Zero Dawn features sweeping wild landscapes inhabited by herds of machines. These mechanical denizens take on the form of various prehistoric creatures and interact with each other, the world, and the local tribes of humans in much the same way as their real-life equivalents might. This results in a jarring yet beautiful and believable juxtaposition between an untamed natural environment and sleek advanced machinery that makes the Horizon games unique and instantly recognisable. Highlights include the powerful and terrifying Thunderjaw, the enormous and majestic Tallnecks, and the airborne Stormbird. The equally revered sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, adds yet more awe-inspiring mechafauna, such as the mammoth-inspired Tremortusk and the amphibian Tide Ripper. Many of these creatures are hunted by the humans of the setting for valuable parts, and protagonist Aloy can even tame them using some techno-wizardry and a big stick. Once they're reprogrammed, they'll do Aloy's bidding, but only for a limited time. Remember that last bit, unless you want Aloy's internal organs to be decorating the inside of a sawtooth. Number 6, the Panzer Dragoon series. Speaking of post-apocalyptic worlds with tribal themes and unique fauna, the Panzer Dragoon series offers up some truly unusual creatures to behold for those brave enough to mount their dragons and explore its savage and dangerous skies. Sega were able to bring the world of its dragon riding series to life in spectacular fashion for its 4th entry. The various biomes of Panzer Dragoon Orta are filled with unusual creatures. The course of the evolution of these odd beasts was altered by the technology of ancient civilizations, and so the developers really let loose, presenting some truly alien designs. From enormous desert flatfish that carry entire tribal civilizations on their backs, to biomechanical creatures that are living weapons awakened from the ancient age. This series will really keep you guessing as to what you're going to encounter next. Will it be a giant flying ice monster that launches its scales at you, or will it be this thing? You just don't know. This is all without even mentioning the dragons themselves, melding the whole reptilian bug alien look with the ancient biological weapon theme. These creatures represent perhaps the most unusual take on dragons seen in gaming. Hey Dragon Age, do your dragons shoot homing lasers? No, didn't think so. Number 5, the Oddworld series. No matter what you think of the Oddworld series, there's one thing that just cannot be denied. It definitely lives up to its name. Starting out in 1997 with Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, we were introduced to the Mudokons, a race of sentient creatures that include protagonist Abe. These fellows are humanoid, egg-laying creatures with turtle faces and telepathic abilities, and they're just the tip of the weird iceberg. Sligs are bizarre tentacle-faced creatures that march around on robotic legs. Scrabs are unsettling beaked crab things with a redundant humanoid torso and shoulders, and Elam is a cantankerous rideable beast, and one of the few entities in the first few games that isn't out for Abe's blood. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath adds even more madness to the mix. The protagonist, for example, is a mighty Steef. These centaur-like creatures are revered by the lizard-like grubs. Then there are various bugs and critters that are used as ammo for the protagonist's crossbow, including zapflies and thud slugs. While Oddworld's bizarre collection of fauna definitely earns its place on this list through design alone, it definitely also gets bonus points for being so fun to say. So on that note, whether you're into sligs, slegs, steefs, leeches, fuzzles, stunks, meatles, or stingbees, there's definitely something in Oddworld's extensive bestiary that'll tickle your zoological fancy. Number 4, the Lost Planet series. It's not exactly unknown for science fiction franchises, be they movies, games, or others, to pit advanced human soldiers against hordes of huge alien bugs. Capcom's Lost Planet series holds a special place in the hearts of fans of xenoentomology the world over, and that's mainly due to its complete lack of restraint when it comes to the sheer size of these things. Starting off as a chilly expedition to a planet covered in snow and ice, the first game in the series, released in 2006, introduces players to the Acrid. This insectoid alien race is hostile and territorial, and hold the precious thermal energy the humans need to survive. But the humans are desperate, and they have big guns and mech suits. So I think you can see where this is going. The Lost Planet series is remarkable for the ridiculous size of many of its enemies, presenting us with some absolute units, as well as vast swarms of lesser bugs that obey their every command. Throughout the 3 mainline Lost Planet games, players really feel like an insignificant ant intruding on the territory of giants. The thing is, unlike the ants that are invading my windowsill, the humans in Lost Planet are equipped with top-notch futuristic military hardware. Let the mech on monster mayhem commence. Number 3, the Final Fantasy series. The Final Fantasy series is absolutely stuffed with iconic creatures that are ingrained into the psyches of many gamers. From the friendly Chocobo to the hideous Malboro and the sinister Tonberry, these critters have been helping or hindering JRPG fans since time immemorial. It wasn't until the 15th numbered entry into the series, however, that this cast of creatures truly felt at home in their world. While Final Fantasy XV may seem like a game about 4 top man models driving around in a snazzy car, there's actually a huge and detailed open world for those lads and their perfect hairdos to explore. Additionally, and crucially for this list, it's absolutely full of incredible creatures. Taking the franchise's penchant for stunning monster design and merging it with a believable open world ecosystem, Final Fantasy XV achieves some amazing results. Best of all, the developers had the good sense to translate many of the classic Final Fantasy monsters into this wondrous new setting, resulting in a chance to see them looking really at home in their natural environment, all in stunning HD. After all, what's the point in huge, disgusting monsters if you can't get up close and see all of their really icky bits? Number 2, the Metroid series. Nintendo's foremost sci-fi franchise has been pitting bounty hunter Samus Aran against all manner of alien life forms since its inception in 1986. Even in the 8-bit days, Metroid was remarkable for its evocative creature design, and as the series evolved, so too did its fauna. While the various bosses that Samus encounters, as well as the titular parasitic energy-sucking Metroids, are the most iconic of the franchise's critters, a veritable swarm of lesser creatures backs up these more prominent foes. The Metroid bestiary ranges from sentient beings to artificially created bioweapons to native wildlife, and the developers possess a particular knack for designing parasitic life forms, as evidenced by the colourful but chilling SAX from Metroid Fusion. The franchise's mastery of alien design is perhaps best embodied by its most recent entry, with Metroid Dread's caves, jungles and underwater laboratories filled with bizarre alien life. Most of these creatures are aggressive, while some just go on about their business in the background, but all of them together tell the story of the planet's evolution, and represent a varied and considered fictional ecosystem. It's just a shame that Samus destroys it all in the end. Honestly, Samus, can you not go anywhere without hitting the self-destruct button on your way out? I'm never inviting you round for tea, that's for sure. And number 1, Bloodborne. While all of From Software's most prominent titles are filled with imaginatively designed beasties that take mythical fantasy tropes and sprinkle in some of the studio's trademark darkness and shadowy melancholy, it's Bloodborne that really takes the cake. The cake is rotten, dripping with black ooze, and probably has spiders' legs popping out of it, but it is a cake nonetheless. These things seem to be plucked directly from the nightmares of the most disturbed individuals. Whether you're talking about Garden of Eyes, which appears to be a humanoid with a giant fly head, spider-like appendages and multiple bulbous eyes, or the man-eater boars, extremely round boys with a penchant for human flesh, everything is bound to unsettle and terrify, and those are just regular enemies. Bloodborne's unholy menagerie of bosses includes the likes of Rom, the vacuous spider, and Abriatus, daughter of the cosmos, who bears an unsettling resemblance to the stomach-churning traditional Cockney delicacy of jellied eels. Horrifying and disturbing, but also completely fascinating, Bloodborne's eldritch abomination-filled world is addictive and demands to be explored, just to satisfy that grim curiosity as to what could possibly be round the next corner. Truly, it is a masterpiece of gruesome creature design that deserves rapturous applause. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go play Pokemon, or Viva Pinata or something. Quick, show me some cute creatures with happy smiles!